Look, are we comfortable with the Eagles' current depth at wide receiver? Also, NAKOBE Dean is finally turning it around in camp. And man, do I hope he proves me wrong, all right? And Quinyon Mitchell continues to get the respect from our top receivers. Look, man, you already know what it is. About to get into it. I'm Wesley. You're watching Beast on Broad Street.
Yeah, reporting live from the underworld, coming from a place that's never been unearthed. How much is your soul? Tell me what it's worth. Do you put your pride on money first?
Hey, what's going on, beautiful people, man? Look, I hope you're all having a great day. I'm making this video while the practice is still going on. Well, it's honestly probably over right now. It was wrapping up by the time I started everything. But look, it is what it is. I just wanted to recap the last, couple of days that I haven't posted a video. You know, anything that I feel like needs to be talked about or maybe we missed. Maybe there's been some rumors. There definitely has been some rumors. But yeah, I just want to, just kind of recap it all into one video. So this is essentially what that is. So with that being said, let's get into it. What I wanted to start off with today, all right, is the rumor floating around, Eagles potentially trading for a wide receiver, just to add to the depth, maybe just a clear-cut starter at wide receiver 3. And that's when, we start hearing John Metchie's name. The Houston Texans get brought up. John Metchie was on the Giants, went to the Texans, but as you may already know, the Texans receiver depth is crazy right now. So he's probably not going to get that much time, and that's at really no fault of his own. They got some dogs over there, so he might just, it's going to end up getting buried. So, he definitely is a trade target. And me personally, I don't honestly see how you couldn't like John Metchie coming over the Birds, man, to be that wide receiver 3. I think he'd be perfect for it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to happen. Now, again, the wishful thinker, the hopeful thinker that I am, I feel like how we could just finesse anything, but I don't know, man. Look, whether or not that happens, it'd have to be sooner than later, because you're gonna want him to get familiar with the offense. You maybe get maybe a preseason game under his belt. So if it was gonna happen, hopefully that's gonna happen. Whether that be today, tomorrow. I just feel like it'd have to happen pretty soon, just to get him accustomed with the offense, so he could actually make that difference. Not that again that he has the talent to just make the difference, anyways. But I don't know, I just don't see it just kind of let's just randomly get him and throw him in. I feel like they'd want to get him sooner than later. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Howie has some tricks up his sleeve. Beats me, man. Either way, I love John Metchie to come here. I am totally on board with doing what you got to do to make that happen. Whether that's, give up maybe late round picks, whatever, man. Because Howie, man, he's going to get that draft capital back. Whatever he gives up, he's going to get something back. So I'm really not concerned. It's almost like with the salary cap. Howie's one of those guys, man. It's as an Eagles fan, man, when's the last time you worried about salary cap? When's the last time you worried about whether we have enough money to pay somebody? We're not them boys over there. No, we're not like that, man. We get our contracts done fast. We do them right. And on top of that, we do what's best for the team. How he creates space. How he just whether it's out of thin air, man, whatever, man, he's a magician with that. So as an Eagles fan, man, we don't worry about cap space. So that's never really been a worry for me. Yeah, I mean, it can prevent you from making a certain move, which is why I don't think that are we gonna get Hassan Reddick back? Yeah, it would be funny. I thought it would be funny too. But at the same time, it's man, it's not gonna happen. Why? Because there's a reason we got rid of him in the first place, because you knew he was gonna hold out, because he wanted a contract that we weren't willing to give. Now, personally, I would have liked to see Hassan Reddick back, whatever it takes, But look, man, it is what it is. You just gotta trust Howie, man. You gotta trust the Howie vision, because at the same time, if he's gonna come back, and I don't man, he clearly wants a contract that teams aren't willing to give him right now. So a lot would have to happen for that hilarious situation to go down. But so that's why I don't really take that rumor that serious. Well, not that it was really a rumor. It was more just people just being hopeful, and again, the comedy of it. But other than that, man, let's be real. There's a reason we got Bryce Huff on a smaller contract, younger guy, smaller contract, and we replace him. We replace Reddick with him. So that's just kind of where I'm at with that. I'm not really not putting any stock into that. But John Metchie though, man, you want to come aboard, man. You want to come get with the birds, man. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man. I think that's actually probably the most like reasonable, logical trade that we could probably go for right now. Another rumor going around is, do we get Jalen Mills? Do we bring the Green Goblin back to Philly, man? Now, I just made this channel, so no one really knows, but anyone who has, just been around me in my personal life or just watched the birds with me, talk with me, knows that, man, when Jalen Mills was an Eagle, I was a Jalen Mills supporter through and through, man. He was probably one of my, if not named Malcolm Jenkins, probably my favorite DB on the roster at that time. Like, I'm just going to keep it a B, man. I love Jalen Mills. Yeah, he would get cooked on certain double moves. He had his flaws. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm well aware of the flaws that Jalen Mills had. He wasn't the best corner in the world. I just really like Jalen Mills because I could really appreciate the way he plays. And trust me, man, you go back to last season, you wish you had a Jalen Mills on your team, man. Because one thing Jalen Mills could do is make a tackle, especially in the open field. He was just not afraid to hit somebody, man, which obviously makes sense on his, transition to safety. You worry less about him getting beat on double moves on the outside, stuff like that. But, man, I was a Jalen Mills supporter, man. That coverage, Julio Jones in the end zone, man, divisional round, you know what I'm talking about, man. Like, look, he also had a dog mentality. So say what you want. Yeah, he had his flaws. He also had a dog mentality. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, well, you're about to go in with why we should bring Jalen Mills on board. I'm just not against him. Like, if the Eagles were to, today, be like, oh, the Eagles signed Jalen Mills, I don't really see where that's going to hurt us, really. Now, why I wouldn't do it, why I wouldn't bring in Jalen Mills, let's start with that. Why I wouldn't bring him in is because, Cooper DeJean's healthy, which, by the way, he was taking reps at nickel today, which I thought was interesting, and Quignon was taking reps on the outside. They moved him around. It was a rotational thing today at practice, but something worth noting. But anyways, back to my point. So if we're going to, let's say we're going to potentially use Cooper DeJean at safety. Maybe we want him to maybe either be a depth piece at safety or maybe even start. Who knows? I don't know. But that would be a reason where it's like, all right, well, if we get Jalen Mills, it's like, it just wouldn't be worth the roster spot, and it wouldn't be worth such competition late in training camp, late in preseason. I don't know, man. It just wouldn't be just be kind of a pointless move at that point, which is why I'm leaning towards they probably won't bring Jalen Mills back because, yeah, we could use safety depth, but now again, Cooper DeJean coming back, if he's going to be that flex guy, hybrid, maybe play down in the nickel, or he could play safety, then yeah, I guess I don't really see the need for Jalen Mills. But if they're not looking at Cooper DeJean as a safety, maybe they're just fully on board with him being a corner or playing that nickel spot, I don't mind the idea of Jalen Mills coming in because, who's his competition, man? Reed Blankenship? I like Reed Blankenship. I'm a fan of Reed Blankenship. I think he plays hard. He's one of the only dudes who would actually tackle last season as far as DBs go. In fact, just one of the only dudes who would tackle last season in general. I think it would just be helpful to have maybe a rotation with Reed Blankenship. This is, again, saying if we were to bring Jalen Mills on board, maybe a rotation with him and Reed Blankenship. I could see that happening, and I wouldn't hate that. Why he got cut by the Giants while he had a calf injury, which he healed from, but he was dealing with a calf injury before he got cut, and I don't know, the Giants aren't a good team, but their defense isn't awful. Again, it's I still don't think Jalen Mills was going to be their guy. Maybe they saw something they didn't like, whatever. I still think it wouldn't hurt to bring him on board. Again, if we need the depth at safety, I don't think that that's a bad idea. Personally, I don't hate that idea. So that's where I'm at with the Jalen Mills thing. And maybe it is part of me just being a little boxer. Man, I'm a Jalen Mills fan, man. I always liked how he played. I always liked his aggression. I liked his mentality. As just a defender in general, you kind of have to have, you gotta have some type of bravado, man. You gotta have some type of like, you gotta have something, man, that fuels you to like want to even play defense to begin with, right? So, and he definitely had that. That's just why I was a fan, and that's why I don't hate the idea of bringing Jalen Mills back. Nah. Moving on from the rumor mill, let's just talk about what is, okay? Now, what is NAKOBE Dean actually turning it around right now? Like he's since the last couple preseason. So I'll say this: the first preseason game, he wasn't having a good camp. He really wasn't. In fact, he wasn't really having a good camp after the first preseason game. But what he did do is when the game came on and the lights were on, not at the joint practice, but in the game, like he really showed up, man. And he really he showed a little bit of promise. He wasn't great, wasn't amazing, but played better than he was in that joint practice, or excuse me, in that public practice and in that training camp beforehand. Now, after that, maybe, he starts to have a little bit better of a camp. Nothing great, though. He still continues to struggle in pass coverage. And again, man, I'm just out. I'm still out on NAKOBE Dean. But I hope he proves me wrong. Like that's where I'm at right now. It's like you've done a lot, man. Since I've been out on NAKOBE Dean, he's really, of course, right? Because it's just how things go with me. But since I've been out on NAKOBE Dean, man, he really has turned it around, and I gotta give him his credit, right? That second preseason game, man, he showed up against the Patriots. He showed up. He did. But call spade a spade. He really came through. Right, he was probably our most willing. He had the highest motor on the field when it was him out there with like whether it was second team, third team guys. Definitely had the highest motor on the field. That play where Bradbury and Trotter Jr. just whiffed on those tackles. And I remember Nick Sirianni saying this in a press conference not too long ago. Typically a play like that where you got again Bradbury and Trotter missing those tackles, whiffing completely. Those plays typically go for a good like 15 plus yards, man. It's like something big usually comes from those plays. That play I don't even think resulted in a first down, if I'm remembering correctly. NAKOBE Dean came flying. He was the blitzing linebacker on that play. That means he was sent after the quarterback, came back. So he circled back after watching those missed tackles, still caught up, made the play, and I think it was only like 5 to 7 yards on the play, which is you'll take, especially if you watch the play, like you'll take the 5-7 yard stop or whatever, 5-7 yard tackle down the field. Cool with that. So, and that on top of other things, blitzing, he's continuing to show that that's definitely his strong suit when he's downhill going towards, going through the gaps, trying to get after the quarterback. He's shown, man, he's a willing tackler. Something we were really missing, which you wish you weren't, because it's NFL level linebackers. Like you kind of need them to be good at those things at the very least. But again, man, like what can I say, man? He's shown up. He's made some play. There was even some plays, whether it was like on a screenplay. Are these bubbles? Like what is flying down from my ceiling? I don't know what's flying around me right now. But anyways, yeah, like how can I be mad? How can I be mad at NAKOBE Dean right now? Really? How can I be mad? Am I completely back on board with NAKOBE Dean? Nah, not really. But if he's gonna make plays like that, like he has been, and honestly, he's shown that like, look, he's came into this season with a new mentality. Yes, he's still struggling in pass coverage for the most part, but that doesn't mean he can't break that shit. We don't, again, like before training camp, we really didn't have a big sample size on NAKOBE Dean. So yeah, I was out on him mostly because of the whole just being injury prone, right? That's something that honestly is even bigger when it comes to the linebacker position for me. Like I need you to be available and not hurt. So availability for that position is just really important for me, which is why I'm still honestly out, because I still need to see, that he can hopefully I'm hoping he wins the job. I'm actually hoping he is. I want him to prove me wrong. Do I think he's going to win the job? Now, but before I was definitely not like I was not nowhere close. Honestly, I thought he would just end up getting buried. I thought he would be like competing with like Van Sumeren, just to even be a depth spot like on like the like now it's like all right, well, Bond hasn't really. You hear a lot about Zach Bond, but like has he really gave you these massive flashes? Or like you just hear about all the high praise. I haven't really seen the play to back it up to that extent, at least. Which is why I'm like, all right, well, NAKOBE still has a chance, man. Dean still's got the chance. So, look, I hope he proves me wrong. I haven't heard since, honestly, knock on wood. I haven't really heard much about him just completely missing, or just completely being like left on a different planet in pass coverage. Like I haven't heard any bad news there since. Again, knock on wood, but we'll see, man. And this next preseason game, the last preseason game that we got home against the Vikings, that's gonna be that's gonna be the time, man. You gotta show up. Gotta show up. I guarantee. I'm actually like I think he'll end up proving me wrong. I want to believe, like, how do you have that type of fire? You gotta have fire in your body if you're NAKOBE Dean, right? Not that no one else does, but like you gotta have that little something extra going, right? From last season, you definitely hear the noise. You definitely hear the naysayers. Like you gotta have that fire in you for sure. So it's like that coming to the last preseason game, man. If NAKOBE Dean can't show up, perform there, then it's like, all right, man. But if he can keep that ball moving, I think he actually does have a chance to come into week one as a starting inside linebacker alongside Devin White. I don't see why that's not a possibility. He does have to watch out for Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Now he's still, to me, still kind of a project, but he's like everything saying that, man, he's like way ahead as like far as like where he's supposed to be as far as progression goes. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is ahead of it, man. He's doing better than we probably thought. Same with Jalen Hunt. Now, Jalen Hunt's not an inside linebacker, so he's not in the competition. But I'm just saying, for like some of these late round picks that we got, late round picks, they're looking good to me, man. I'll take the Trotter Jr. Right, Jalen Hunt, Will Shipley, all these dudes, they look legit. Even Anaya Smith, after today, I'm hearing that he's had a pretty decent camp after that awful start since. Hopefully that 2-point conversion that he had in the last game, hopefully that gave him a little something. Maybe he just needed a moment. And maybe that was it. Hopefully that was it. And hopefully he can turn around. But as far as like the late round picks that we've got, late round picks in the draft, they look good right now. So can't be mad. Can't really be mad there. So, and you can't really call Anaya Smith a bust either, because that was something like flying around, like whether or not he's a bust. Like what is it, 5th round pick? Nah, I don't consider that a bust. I'm surprised that he has high expectations just because of we're kind of thin at that wide receiver 3 spot, but you can't really call him a bust. He has a great opportunity. That's all that is. But I feel like that window's kind of passed as far as being a starting wide receiver 3 right now. I think that's definitely up in the air. It's still up in the air, but I just don't know if Anaya Smith is going to be the guy. Honestly, that's what kills me about that last preseason game. That kills me because we can't really evaluate these receivers. We could not evaluate these receivers from that last game, man, because Kenny Pickett was just buns, man, the whole night. Every snap, man, it's just like, how am I supposed to really evaluate what's going on at wide receiver? This dude throwing the ball. All I got to see, Joseph Gada, EJ Jenkins, they showed up, right? But that's because Pickett came in. It's like, I would have liked to see what Britton Covey, Johnny Wilson, John Ross, even, like, just anybody, like, any of those guys, like, who are with that second team offense, like, I feel like it was like a waste of a game, really. Like, I don't know, not a waste of a game, but as far as evaluating that position goes, like, I feel like we kind of threw it away because of Kenny Pickett, man. I'm still frustrated from that. Frustrated with Kenny Pickett. You got to be better. You just got to be better. You got to be able to be a little bit more decisive. You got to get rid of the ball, man. You can't hold on to it for that long, right? But just where I'm at there. So, but as far as like news today goes, yeah, Quinyon Mitchell continues to just get respect from from our top receivers. He had a play today, just going up against Devontae Smith in one-on-ones. Good coverage, good, like just tight coverage on Devontae Smith. Made a nice play on the ball. Was able to break it up. Devontae Smith gives him his credit, man. That's good. I forgot what the quote actually was, but it's just essentially telling him, man, that's good. That's a good play. Good job. And next play, of course, Devontae gets his get back, but still good coverage by Quinyon Mitchell. And then Quinyon Mitchell gives him his credit back. That's a good route. So I don't know, like Quinyon Mitchell. I've said this before, but what more? Like, bro, this is like the perfect situation for Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, young DB. This is like rightfully we were excited with the young talent that we got at the cornerback position or just DBs in general. We were rightfully excited, but it's just like going in just being matched up with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith throughout all training camp, like. And you're not hearing him getting cooked. You're not seeing him get cooked. Like, that looks like a first round pick. What do you want? Like, that looks like a top corner in a draft. That's what he looks like. And everything's pointing up with Quinyon Mitchell right now. Everything's pointing up. There's not one thing you could tell me where I'm like, I should be concerned about him. He's gonna start. Let's be real. He's gonna start. Right now, the question is, where is he going to start? Nickel, outside. Either way, I'm still very confident. Now, Vic Fangio, he'll put him at nickel, like even though that's not where like he might have saw himself playing. Like he'll put him there if he, if Fangio thinks that he can handle it, he'll put him out there. Whether it's for better or worse, and then he'll make the adjustments accordingly. But like I said, man, Quinyon Mitchell's going to start. It is what it is. I can't be more happy about that, or just excited about that. I'm just like, it's definitely getting to that point where I'm like, man, I am just ready for the regular season. But there's still some unknowns, man, that we need to see in like this next game. I really, 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 really hope they put Tanner McKee with the second offense. We've got a ways to go until like there's anything pointing in that direction. I don't think they will. I guess I'll just have to hope for Kenny Pickett to have a not so awful game. But it's like, man, I really want to be able to evaluate the receivers the next game. That's all. Linebackers, receiver. That's what I'm looking at the next game. Yeah, Ringo's Ringo. I think Ringo is gonna also has an opportunity, man. Like, what I think, honestly, like, it might be a situational thing, just like with defense. I feel like there's so much like young talent on defense this season. We're going to see a lot of guys just coming in and out, whether that be on the line, on our front, or just maybe even for line, just everywhere on the field. Linebackers on the defensive line front, DBs, cornerbacks, everyone except essentially Blankenship and. Actually, I don't know. Maybe even Blankenship might be like a rotational guy come the start of the season, depending on like where DeJean's at and what they plan on doing with them. Blankenship might even be a rotational guy. I could literally see everyone not named Slay or C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis. But then again, that's all conditioning. I could see a lot of guys just coming like in and out just for like situational purposes, because like I don't know if Reed Blankenship, I mean, I hope he can be better in coverage. I don't think he was like he's not great in coverage. I don't think he just has like the speed and quickness like just in coverage, but he's really good against the run. He'll make a tackle, like which is going to be something that that's going to be, I don't know. I feel like that's going to be the key to our defensive success this season, is just pressure, getting some pressure on the quarterback, and swarming to the ball, making tackles. I don't think they're going to be this like world beater defense this season, but if they can do those things, I think that's going to lead to the team's success, really. And hopefully some turnovers this season. Last season, it was almost like taboo to think of us getting a turnover or a pick, a fumble recovery, just anything. It's like weird to even like think of because it just wasn't happening. So this season, defense, turnovers, pass rush, and swarm the tackles. Now, will all three of those things happen at a high rate? Probably not, but if we can at least get two of those things down, I don't see why this defense or this defense can't help lead our team to success. Because I already said it before, the offense is going to be honestly what wins and loses this games, just about every game. And if there's a defensive game that the defense can somehow manage to pull out, hey, we're right on track. That's icing on the cake. That's kind of where my mentality's at going into this season right now. I mean, that's kind of where, like, it's been kind of quiet, like, since our last preseason game, we're just kind of, yesterday was a walkthrough. There's not really much to talk about. I mean, got some guys back. It's good to see, Mekhi Becton's back. Still no Steen, but I think Becton's going to win the job anyway, so I don't see why. I think Steen's going to have time to rest. I mean, yeah, you want him back. You want him back healthy. But I think Becton's just going to end up, well, he definitely is going to be the starting guard at this point. I'm even more in on that now because of that injury. But I think Becton's going to be that guy. And then hopefully we get Steen back healthy and, we can plug him in when we need him. I don't know. We'll see how the season progresses, but that's just kind of where we're at there. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything, but other than that, it's just kind of been the same thing. Like kind of like how we expected this to go. It's kind of gone that way. Other than the NAKOBE Dean turning it around, everything's pretty much going how I thought it would go. I really, again, man, my top story to follow right now is whether or not Dean can keep the ball rolling and continue to turn it around and maybe make a last push for starting inside linebacker. Because to me, it's still open. I mean, I know they like Bond, but I haven't heard so much Bond hype recently. I mean, he didn't have an awful game when he played last against the Patriots, but Dean really balled. Like, he really balled out. So, I mean, what do you want? I really hope he proves me wrong. That's kind of where I'm at right now. That's what I'm excited about. I want to be able to evaluate receivers, especially on the second team offense. So, like, that's where I'm looking. So right now, as far as we're going, I want to see how Trevor Keegan progresses on the O-line. And I want to see inside linebackers and what did I just say? Oh, wide receiver 3. If the quarterback, whoever's at quarterback, can actually get them the ball. But that's where I'm at. Hopefully we get some more, a better look at things either throughout the rest of the day. Maybe we'll get some news. Maybe Howie's not done. We might hear a trade. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But as until then, we're just gonna have to wait and speculate. All right. So that's all I got. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I gotta work on these outros, man. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Again, couldn't thank you guys enough for watching, following. And that's all I got, man. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. If anything's going on, maybe I'll just pop out on Instagram or just give out some shorts. But other than that, I'm looking forward to Saturday, right? Saturday at home at the link. Let's get there, baby. All right. Wesley out.